They didn't see you. They passed by while you trembled behind that forced smile, the one you trained yourself to wear so no one would ask if you were okay. But I saw you when your hands clutched the edge of the sink at 2 a.m., shaking, breathless, whispering, "God help me." I stood right beside you. The heavens were silent, yes, but not absent. I sent the angels to your room that night, not to rescue, but to witness. Because sometimes the greatest proof of faith is that you stayed when no one else did. You didn't run. You didn't give up. You didn't curse the sky, though it would have been easy. You whispered a prayer, a trembling, broken thing. It didn't sound holy. It didn't sound powerful. But I heard every word. And while the world moved on, while your friends forgot your birthday, while your phone stayed quiet and your room echoed louder than any storm, I etched your name into the sky. This one stayed. This one didn't fold. This one still believes, even when no one is watching. You see shadows in your room. I see the war you've survived. Every night you cried yourself to sleep was not just sadness. It was sacred resistance. You think you're weak? Number, do you know what it does to hell when someone like you still whispers my name? You're not broken. You're battle-worn. You've walked through silence that could have swallowed you whole, and yet you're still here. I watched you pick yourself up on mornings when your body felt like stone. I saw how you dressed your wounds with routine. I saw how you learned to laugh, not because life got easier, but because you refused to let sorrow win. Every time you said, "I'm fine," I knew you weren't, and I stayed. Even when you pushed me away, even when you doubted me, even when you said, "God, where are you?" I didn't leave. I stood beside you, even when you couldn't feel me, because love that leaves when it's quiet isn't love. And I am not a visitor. I am the walls that held you, the breath in your lungs when you thought it was your last. Do you remember that one night, the one you never told anyone about, when you sat by your window, looked out at the streetlights, and thought of leaving this world? That night, time paused. The angels held their breath, and I came closer than ever, not to stop you with lightning or fire, but to sit beside you in your quiet, to hold your heart without words. Because you didn't need a sermon, you needed a presence. And I was there, whispering, "Not yet, my child, not yet. There's more." The enemy knows your name. That's why the attacks feel personal, because he's seen what I've placed inside you, and it terrifies him. You carry more than pain. You carry prophecy. That storm that tried to drown you, it was the same one I used to teach you how to walk on water. You don't even realize how many people are breathing today because you didn't give up. Slight pause, shift in tone. One day, I will show you. I'll roll back the veil, and you'll see every soul that was saved because you stayed, because you smiled when it was hard, because you forgave when it was unfair, because you prayed when no one else heard. You'll see how every tear you cried watered someone else's miracle. You thought your life was small, ordinary, invisible, but heaven never called you small. Do you know what the angels call you? Anchor. Because while the winds screamed, you didn't move. You held ground others abandoned. You carried light when no one thanked you. You loved without applause. They call you Anchor because even when your soul cracked under pressure, you didn't let the darkness win. I know the names they gave you. Too sensitive, too emotional, too much. But in heaven, sensitivity is strength, and those emotions, they're not weaknesses,
They're echoes of me. You feel deeply because you were created from deep waters. The same voice that calmed the storm lives in your chest. That's why the pain hurts so badly. It's sacred ground. That ache you carry, it's not a curse, it's a calling. You weren't made for surface living. You were born for depth. When they left, when they betrayed you, when they ghosted you and made you question your worth, I didn't flinch. I stayed. And while they moved on without explanation, I wrote every detail of your sorrow into eternity. You're not forgotten. You are documented. Heaven knows your name, your voice, your tears. And one day, every name that ever made you feel like you weren't enough will be silenced, because I will raise you in front of them, not to humiliate them, but to heal you, to show them what I saw in you all along. And you'll weep, but not from pain, from relief, because the weight will finally lift. The questions will be answered. The nights you didn't think you'd survive will play like scenes on a screen, and you'll see me in every frame.
I was there when you bled in silence, when you smiled through grief, when you danced with wounds no one else could see. You thought you were forgotten. You thought your prayers bounced off the ceiling. But let me show you what you didn't see. That night, you cried in the kitchen. Someone across town felt the urge to keep going. They didn't know why. They just didn't quit. It was because your prayer echoed through the walls of their darkness. Your pain wasn't wasted. It became someone else's lifeline. That time you smiled at the cashier when your own world was falling apart. She went home and didn't take the pills because your kindness reminded her that light still exists. You didn't know it, but I did. Every time you got out of bed when depression told you not to, you shook the kingdom of hell. Every time you forgave when vengeance whispered, you built a bridge that someone else will one day walk across. You think no one noticed? I noticed. When you gave your last coin to help someone, when you stayed up all night praying for a friend who never even said thank you, when you loved people who didn't love you back. Those moments are not erased. They are recorded. And one day I'll read them back to you, line by line, act by act, pain by pain, and you will weep in glory. Not because you hurt, but because you'll finally understand that none of it was in vain. I never promised you a life without storms. But I did promise you this. You would never walk through one alone. You were never alone in that hospital room. You were never alone when you stared at the ceiling and begged for rest. You were never alone when you whispered, I can't do this anymore. Because I was there, kneeling beside you, holding your breath in my hands, fighting for your soul in the silence. You didn't see me, but I never took my eyes off you, not once. I know you're tired of waiting, tired of hurting, tired of surviving. But hear me now, you are closer to the promise than you think. The shift is coming. The restoration is already written. Your story doesn't end in this chapter. This is the middle, not the end. And what's coming will make sense of everything that nearly broke you. You thought your story was about pain, but it was always about resurrection. You were never just surviving. You were sowing, and now the harvest is coming. I am not late. I am exact. You didn't miss it. You didn't mess it up. You didn't fall too far. You've simply been becoming the miracle someone else is praying for, becoming the testimony that darkness hoped you'd never become, becoming the answer to generational prayers you didn't even know were whispered. The shaking you felt lately, it's not destruction, It's birth. I'm not pulling you apart. I'm pulling you through. The reason it hurts so much is because you're being stretched into something holy, wider compassion, deeper faith, unshakable strength. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. You will walk into rooms that once rejected you. You will speak with a voice they tried to silence. You will laugh again, dance again, rest again, because I am restoring you. Publicly, I will prepare a table for you in front of everything that tried to bury you, not out of revenge, but because honor must follow the faithful, because glory must follow the surrendered. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are exactly where I need you, not because life has been easy, but because you didn't quit. And for that, heaven is about to answer. So lift your head, child. The pain was real, but so is the promise. The silence was deep, but so is the blessing. The night was long, but morning is coming. I never left. I never forgot. I never stopped writing your story. And now it's time for the next chapter. He was there every moment, every breath, every tear, and he's not done with you yet.